it says that in order to foster, a safe space, for someone else to foster a safe space for you, you also have to be able to foster a safe space within,
Ooh.
So have you foster a safe space within, and in turn, right, to help that person foster a safe space for you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm over here.
You,
I'm
you,
a therapist. Yeah.
you did not say, look, you can
Yeah.
say. Oh man. Oh wow. Okay.
Because
All right.
oftentimes we put the onus on the other person,
Yes, and we should.
and if you're not happy within yourself,
Yes.
how can someone else, make you happy? Or how can someone else, foster a safe space for you, no matter what? And I told my wife this the other day, that, I kind of had to apologize to her in the sense that I I keep saying that I need, her to make a safe space for me, but have I given her the opportunity, to truly make a safe space for me? Yeah, sometimes I just be talking to you. I'll probably be lying,
Oh man,
but you know me,
look at you growing up. I'm
yeah,
so proud. I was a
yeah,
tear. Oh my
yeah.
god.
I'm growing a little bit. But no, but in all seriousness, have you and I, create a safe space within that allows somebody else to come in, and also, provide a safe space for you to share, with that person. What's going on, good people? Welcome to Between Friends. I'm your host, Anthony, and my lovely co-host, Nikki.
What's up?
What's up, Nikki?
Hey.
Hope everyone is doing well. Once again, thank you for tuning into our podcast. If you like what you have been hearing and watching, hit the subscribe button below. Also, follow us on our various social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Let's all become friends. Nikki,
Tell
how's the
me.
day going?
It's been an interesting day, but um, I will not complain. I woke up this morning. I'm in fairly good health, and so my husband is good. The girls are good, so I'm blessed, and yeah. So I won't complain. How's your day
That's
been?
that's what's up. That's what's up. Day's going well, actually. Um, Summers are always nice here in Chicago. So as much as I complain about the winter, uh, there's no city like Chicago. There's no summer city like Chicago, or should I say, the city of Chicago summers are better than any place I've ever been to. Seriously,
Oh,
everybody's outside. There's so much to do, especially on the weekends. So summers are only 2.5 months. So
no, nice.
I'm sure that's why everybody's outside and enjoying themselves, because for 8 months, we're pretty much inside the house. So, again, can't complain, having a great day. Uh, Wish I was on somebody's beach right now, traveling, because you know how much I love to travel.
Yeah, I'm
but
with you on that one.
unfortunately, you need money to travel. So Massa got me at the house right now doing work.
Lord, not massa.
Not
What kind of
Massa,
work
right?
do you do? Wait a minute.
I
Maybe you
guess
need to change jobs. I don't think that that's the career opportunity for you then.
oh, you definitely right. You know me, I don't listen to nobody anyway, so
Facts.
I do not listen to anyone anyway. But today we doing a two-man show. Some of our favorite topics typically occur when the two of us are in deep conversations. So I get a kick. I get excited when we do these two-man episodes. And I look forward to the conversation today. And as usual, I hope I don't get therapized by you. Yeah, I'm back with that word. So be easy on me today. Be easy.
Yeah, well, you never know. Today could be the day that is for me. So you never know. You never know.
Mm.
I mean, I think we both had a little equal amount of therapization.
Oh, sure. You making up words now.
A little therapization,
Uh-huh.
the last time we convened, just the two of us. So, it's never just me therapizing you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I love how we feeding off of each other, with these words. And everybody watching us, listening to us, please don't use those words in a real conversation. All right? Please don't. Uh, just two friends having some fun. All right? Just two friends having some
Get me
fun.
a t-shirt. I got therapized.
There's some you need a t-shirt.
Oh,
You never know. Next week I may wear a shirt that says that. So it's not my word, so I don't know if I can use it.
okay. All right. Well, it's not in a dictionary, so I think you'll be safe that no one's going to come and claim, any type of, what is it, copyright or something like
For
that.
sure, for sure. So I better jump on it myself. I probably
Yeah.
need to copyright it myself.
Okay. Well, so today we
Mm-hmm.
our topic of conversation is going to be communication within your relationships, and is it a safe space?
Woo, that's a heavy one. Woo, I don't know if I even want to do this one. Well, you should have gave me the heads up. You didn't even send me questions, to prepare.
No,
You just going to dump this one on me, huh?
listen, because whenever we talk, we don't prepare, we don't write notes, we get on the phone, start chopping it up. So let's go.
Oh boy. Woo. I'm scared now.
Right. So let's jump into that. I don't have a list of questions, so let's go. What when it comes to that? So
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of conversation in the social media, podcast, platform arenas where they talk about safe spaces,
Yeah.
right? Um, and I hear that from a lot of men when it comes to safe spaces toward women. So what does a safe space, what does that look like? What does that mean for you as a man that's in a relationship, that's married? What does safe space mean for you?
Oh wow. Wow. You know what's funny? As much as I just joked about not knowing the topic, but we definitely knew the topic. So I had a chance to actually go and look up some definition of safe space.
Okay.
And it's funny that was the first question you you proposed, and
And I didn't know this to our audience that was.
yeah, that is funny how we feed off of each other, as I stated earlier. And I guess to define it for myself, and I won't give you no clinical or Webster dictionary definition.
Mhm.
but just to define it for myself, it's pretty much having someone, a person, or environment where one would feel safe enough to discuss some of the more intimate, topics, or some of the more intimate concerns that I may have, or some of the issues that I may be going through, where I have the ability to talk to someone, whether it is a best friend, and because you use the word marriage, you would assume, or you would think, that your significant other would be that person that you feel the closest with,
Right.
that you feel the most comfortable with to discuss said topic or said concern. But that's not always the case. So for me, as I just stated, the definition would be more or less, environment or a person, and when I say environment, I mean, it's it can be a person also, where you just feel like you can walk into a room, with your wife, or you can get on the phone with your homeboy and discuss what you're going through. And there is no, what's the word? There's no criticism. You're not being harassed, asking like multiple follow-up questions that sometimes, no, I'm being serious. You laughing. Sometimes you just want to unload, right?
Okay.
And I think that person, or that, that safe space that they have established, they know that, hey, he's just coming to unload, right? He's not really looking for a solution, and not everything require a solution. And I think sometimes that's why sometimes we make those decisions on who we decide is going to be that safe person, because they can't decipher exactly what you're trying to do at this particular moment. And again, I know you laughing, but sometimes I just want to unload. I just want to talk. I'm not looking for a solution, but we always assume that because he's sharing this with me, then I have to solve his problem for him. And that's not always the case. So I'll turn it around. I'll turn it around to you before you comment on my
I just wanted to ask a question. I don't want to comment on the
Go
whole.
ahead. Go ahead.
Question on one thing that you said, because you said we, and I was going to say, who is we?
Oh,
Who is
wow.
we that makes a? You said we, and
For sure. So we, in this instance, because I would love for my wife to be my person.
Okay.
But there are times
Okay.
when she is not my person, because I don't feel like it's a safe space, right? And that is something that the two of us are continuously working on. And as I shared with you earlier before we got on, this was a topic of conversation a few days ago between my wife and another couple.
Okay.
And we were asking
so
those, we were asking those tough questions. What is a safe space?
Right.
And the topic the topic of conversation didn't even come up because I knew we were going to do this show.
Right.
And actually, my wife proposed a question in a group text, and I was just like, wow, this is kind of eerie, that I am going to do a show on this, and here she is, proposing these questions. So yeah, so to get back to your original question, the we is my wife, because she is learning that everything I share doesn't always, Tony's not always looking for a solution. And I will say that about her, that she has fostered, you know, and she's continuously working on it,
Mm-hmm.
fostering an environment where I do feel safe
Mm-hmm.
and that I can come to her and discuss my concerns, my needs, my hurts,
Mm-hmm.
and all type of topics. So, what is a safe space to you? How would you define it?
Okay. So I can't ask my follow up questions to you right now. Do I have to wait till after I make my
Yeah, yeah,
definition?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just write it down. Write it down. Take a
No,
picture.
I'll remember.
Yeah, write it down. Take a picture.
So, safe space, it would be similar. It would be similar to what you just described. And of course, for myself, when I think of safe space, I that to me is synonymous with trust. So it's with whom I can trust. Um, not really where, um, but definitely the whom. So that means someone that I can be myself with, and not necessarily for any problems or to unload, but place where, and with whom I can be my authentic self. I don't have to put on airs. I can let my hair down, so to speak.
That's why
They
you got your hair down right now, because this is a safe space.
Yes, this is a safe space. That's why I have my hair down today. Where, like you said, I'm not judged, where I'm open to discuss my good, my bad, my ups, my downs, my fears, whatever. And, you know, um, my dreams, my goals. And then I also trust them enough to allow them to give me honest feedback, because that's a part of that safe space. If I trust you enough to hear me, I trust you enough to be honest with me.
For sure.
So if I'm not making a good decision, if you have some extra advice, if you have expertise, if in certain things, because we don't all share the same experiences. So um, to be that voice of reason. So that would be my definition of safe spaces, like where I can be myself,
Hmm.
where I can trust and be trusted.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, because I also read, and like you, I just wanted to kind of piggyback on it. A safe space is a judgment-free zone. You can truly let your guard down. You can truly be yourself and not worry about some of the consequences for some of the words you may use or some of the things you may say. And there was some of the back and forth dialogue that we were having yesterday via text. And oftentimes, as a man, sometimes we feel guarded not to share everything because we worry, that certain things may be used against you in future conversations. And I think that's why I personally and the other male in the group text kind of agreed with me that some of the reasons why we may have a harder time sharing with our significant other is because we are afraid that some of our conversations may be used in future conversations. I'll give you a chance, and also
I'm waiting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes the ego. get in the way
Okay.
because we don't want to be perceived as weak, especially we males. Um, and I think that's why I personally find it a little bit easier to share sometimes with my best friend, which is a guy friend, that I know that I can be vulnerable around him, because we're both males and we kind of understand what each other may be going through. Uh, but as I have been learning through therapy, you know, if I claim that I love my wife and she's my person as much as I claim I do, I have to be as vulnerable as I am with my homie, because this is the individual that I have said I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I need to be able to say, hey, this is completely Anthony, and that is what I have been learning over the last few months in therapy as I am being therapized, so so yes, so I think sometimes we just got to put our fears away and understand that, hey, this is a judgment free zone, and express to her, or your person, that, hey, I hope you're not going to be judgmental. And I'm sure your person probably have shown you that they're not going to be judgmental, so it's okay to be as you stated, to share your dreams and to share, your everyday life with that person. So, and my 18 years, almost 18 years of marriage, I'm still learning. I'm still under construction. So, that is what I, have been learning. And I noticed that you had your trigger finger up. So, shoot
Yeah,
away.
I wanted to go back to when you were giving your definition of what a safe space was. I think you mentioned it too again when you're talking about the conversation you all had. So in the moment, because you said that you want to come to have a conversation and you don't want it to be fixed, right? You don't want it to be solved or whatever the case may be, right? So in that type of a situation, um, and I'm asking, assuming that there's certain permissions you have to talk about. So if you don't, you don't have to answer. But um, have you or do you say or preface whatever it is you're going to say by saying, um,
Are you a
listen,
lawyer?
I kind of just, yeah, listen, I want to share some things with you and I just need to get this off my chest. I'm not like, do you provide that information prior to, or are you assuming that she should know that you don't, this isn't a conversation for dialogue? Like,
Yeah,
how would you communicate that, or how would she know so that you are not, you're not about to shut down because you're just like, whoa, 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 I'm not trying to be fixed. I just need to
yeah,
talk.
yeah, yeah. So in the past, I will say no. That's something that I did not say. But over the years, probably the last 5 years or so, we've attended a few marriage retreats,
Oh, awesome.
and those
Okay.
are some of the tools that we have gained. Where hey, you want to preference some of those conversations. You want to say, hey, I'm just sharing this, just to share, just because I want you to know um, what's going on, and I'm not really looking for a solution. And again, I I'm not saying that every conversation or every deep conversation I have with her, I don't want her feedback, because I do. You know,
You just don't want her to fix it.
there you go. So I
Okay.
just, there's times when you are having these conversations that, hey man, I'm just venting, and I'm just sharing something that happened to me today. There's no need to be like, oh yeah, you should have cursed out your boss. No, that's not what I'm having the conversation for. It's just more so because oftentimes because I've heard this a lot where we say men tend to be like just surface level responses. So how was your day? Oh, it was good. It was good. It was good. And whereas if I ask my wife how her day was, man, she's probably going to give me a whole list of things that happened in her day.
Yeah,
So
more
like, yeah, what was
detailed.
that?
We're more detailed in
For
our response.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. So
Hmm.
likewise, I want to return the favor sometimes and just tell her, everything that happened.
Right.
Because when she tells me everything that happened, I don't tend to really ask that much follow up questions. I just sit there and listen. So I expect that same courtesy, and and I don't always get it.
But yeah, but I mean, okay. So, so here's one thing in the communication. I'm gonna put, let's just push pause
Hey,
here for a
hey,
second.
hold on. Didn't we say we weren't gonna be therapized?
No, I'm sorry. I have to.
No,
I'm
go ahead. I'm just.
sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
uh,
all right, so then, and I'm this is also for myself. See, again, for myself, because you know how I like to have these conversations about effective communication because I think it's important. But um, when in communicating, I'm pretty sure through your therapy and maybe your most recent, group conversation or whatever, maybe this came up. But we all communicate differently,
for
and
sure.
so when you know what, it's so interesting, this kind of goes back to our love language conversation, right? When we're talking about giving that person what they need, and so while you may need quiet and just listening, she may want the feedback.
For sure.
So it's kind
For
of
sure.
like in those moments of communication, each of you has to give that person what they need instead
Mm,
of how you
want.
would do it.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. See,
For
I wasn't
sure.
gonna say nothing too crazy. I
Oh
wasn't trying
no,
to
no,
emphasize.
no,
I'm just,
no.
trying
Hey,
to round
listen,
it out here.
listen. I'm I'm
Um,
I'm I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to learn. So this is since this is a safe space, and you can be yourself. So I'm allowing you to be yourself. So
Silly.
be yourself.
Okay,
You
so
know,
you mentioned something else. So you said that um, for men or for yourself, you and your best friend, at least we know those for sure, that you all stated that you would be afraid that things would come back in a conversation if you were to talk about something now that it would be used in a further conversation. Can you touch more on that? Because what would that be like? Like if you had an argument or something, or what 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 would you be afraid to share with your significant other that you would be afraid would come up later on or be used in such a way? Is that like an argument or just like a regular conversation?
well, if it's a safe space, I don't think we're arguing.
Safe space people argue too.
Okay, well, I guess safe space people argue. So yeah,
I know I'm not
so
saying it gotta be rah
well,
rah rah, but
well, if
disagree.
if
Let me say
if you're
that.
gonna give me that out, yeah, it's an argument. Remember when such and such happened, a few years ago? No, but seriously, I think sometimes when it could be a disagreement,
Hmm.
um, and and a few months later, things maybe come back up where it occurs. Example, I actually have a really good example here,
Okay.
and since we're trying to be transparent,
Okay.
uh, had an opportunity to purchase a franchise a few years ago,
Hmm.
and that was one that's always been my dream, and that's actually
Okay.
still one of my dreams is to be a franchise owner of something, some entity,
Okay.
and we had the opportunity to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and went through all the vetting of the opportunity, um, even secured finance for the opportunity, and thought everybody was on board, right?
Mm.
And when it came time to put pen to paper,
Okay.
it was, you know, ripped from under me,
Okay.
and she expressed the reasons why um, she no longer wanted to venture into this opportunity. And at the time, no matter what she was saying, I couldn't see it.
Mm.
All right, I couldn't see it because I was so like focused
Yeah.
on this opportunity and obtaining my goal and my dream that I just thought, man, this is so messed up. And now the funny part is, check this out. As I stated that I'm afraid that it would be used against me.
Okay. You
I,
used
I,
it.
I used it against her,
Mm.
and ongoing conversations
You were taking shots.
later on. Yeah.
Mm.
And today, as I look back at the situation and the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
uh, sometimes you probably should listen to your wife. um,
I'm so glad you said that. Yes.
Sometimes you probably should listen to your wife because the decision was actually the right decision. I
Mm-hmm.
won't go into all the reasons why the decision was
Right.
the right decision,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the decision was the right decision. So as I sit here today,
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say, you know, thank God for a what's the word? A
Discerning wife.
discerning wife.
Yes.
So sometimes, you know,
Run that
when you're
back.
not looking for solutions
Ah. Yes.
to a conversation or to a problem, to a dream,
Right.
and wifey tells you, "Hey, I don't know if this is the best decision that that we should make," then we probably should listen. So I have learned over the years that yes, we don't always want to hear solutions. Some conversations don't deserve a solution or deserve to be solved. But sometimes
It doesn't deserve
even
to be
yeah,
solved,
it
but it
doesn't
needs to
complete
be
it.
solved.
Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't need it doesn't hurt to hear the other side of the argument,
Okay.
or the debate or the topic or
Mhm.
whatever you may be talking about.
Right.
So yeah, so that's how I answer that question, whether or not it can be used against you in further discussion. And like I said, what's crazy is in that particular instance, I was the one using it, you
You
know,
over there taking shots.
against it.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know you. I know you was
yeah,
throwing cheap shots.
yeah. I was doing throwing those soft jabs because they
Mm.
weren't like haymakers. They were just soft jabs,
Jab, jab.
jab,
Yeah.
jab, jab, jab,
Hmm.
jab, jab. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and then the third point you made was
Oh
that,
boy.
yeah, hey, you gave me three, so I'm about to hit them all. So the third, the third point you gave was about um, making you as a man feel weak if you were to share. And I want to add some affirmation here. as a woman to say that there's nothing weak about a man sharing. Nothing weak about him sharing his emotions, communicating any of that. And if anything, because we are the communicators that we are, we actually wish you would communicate more and share more. Um, because especially when it comes down to the raw things. So yeah, we can talk about all kinds of stuff. We can talk about politics and all this. My husband and I, we talk about all these things. But when it comes to the emotional level, or if it's like, if there's a decision to be made about something and I know he's perplexed about it, um, he will draw into himself. And I hate that. I hate it with a passion. Um, because, and it's not that I need you to overshare, but let me know where you are. You know what I mean? Like, let me know where your head is. At least give me a snippet so I can be like, okay, he's in the process of thinking. So tell me that. Say, hey, I just need to kind of mull this over. Give me a day or two. And we've talked about that because I'm like, say that. Say you need time. But if you shut down and shut me out and you're quiet, draw within yourself and pull away and get distant or whatever, that's not beneficial for anybody. Because what ends up happening when you do that is you allow my mind to do all the things that it does. Um, and I live inside my head. We talked about that before. So don't allow my thoughts to do what they do all by themselves. Um, I think that society has put this thing on men where it's like, it's weak to share, it's weak to be vulnerable, it's weak to cry, it's weak to, you know, say all the mushy things. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think that's been put out to society by other men because it wasn't women. We
Mm-hmm.
weren't out here saying, oh, don't share. I don't want to hear how. No, now, now. Let me take that back. There are
Yeah.
some.
Yeah. Because I was about to get
Yeah,
you.
let me run that back. There are some women out there who do say that. There was a friend that I had who would say that she thought that men were weak if they would cry, they turned her off. And I was just, and every time she would say that, I would just be like, shut up, because you sound ridiculous. That makes no sense. Like, if you have, I remember we were somewhere and there was a gentleman who was telling a story about something that happened, and it was somebody that she was interested in. And in the moment that he was sharing his story, he started breaking down and crying. She was like, and I was like, are you serious right
Mm,
now? What is going on?
mm,
Why are you acting like that? And so fast forward, she ended up being in a relationship with somebody who was, all the things of, she was Caribbean background. So she
mm-hmm.
wanted a Caribbean man and all these
Mm-hmm.
things. And I remember one day she came and was upset because she was like, I just want him to tell me he loves me. And I just want him to tell me. And I just kind of looked at her
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, but wasn't that all the things that you wanted? Didn't you
Mm-hmm.
want somebody who wasn't weak, who wouldn't share, who wasn't going to
Mm-hmm.
cry? And so
Mm-hmm.
now here you are hoping for the I love yous.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I thought that that was weak to you. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're ridiculous. And so those women who say that stuff, I'm always like, girl, sit down somewhere because you're talking pure foolishness.
Yeah.
Because if the time came around and you were in a relationship and you get down to the base things that you need, that's exactly what you hope for. That's why you're going to end up in counseling.
For sure.
He's not sharing and I can't feel and I'm la, 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 la,
Mm-hmm.
la, la, la.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say in an affirming way, and just speaking for myself, I won't speak for the masses of women, but that does not make a man weak at all, as far as I'm concerned. If anything, that makes you stronger because that takes a lot for you all to be in that vulnerable space. That's easy for us. We do that with each other. I mean, we're for the most part each other's safe spaces. That's why
Yeah.
therapy
Yeah.
for us is, I mean, talking with our friends or talking is therapeutic,
Yeah. Now,
whether whether it's
do
intentional or not.
yeah. Do you think it's just a male thing that we have issues sharing or being vulnerable? Because
No,
I don't think it's
it's not.
just
It's no,
guys,
no, no,
because
no. But I was speaking to this was based off of what you, in response to
for
what you
sure.
were.
For sure.
in you guys' conversation. But in general, no, that's a person thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that can be due to whatever you've experienced in life
For
that
sure.
takes you there.
For sure.
Because um, I remember when my husband and I were dating, I we sat down and had a conversation, and I told him um, all the things that I had been through,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Can am I safe with you?"
Mm-hmm.
I asked him that because if I can't be safe with you, I can't marry you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think that that's based off of each person and what you've been through. It's no different than if you've been burned in friendships,
Yeah.
right? And then you go to cultivate a new friendship. So you're comfortable with the friendship that you have, but if somebody new comes along, yes, you're friendly, but then you still may decide how close you want to get to that person, how soon you want to let them in. It's all calculated.
For sure.
So I think vulnerability, being vulnerable, whether or not you want to open up or that depends on it. That's just people, period,
For
and
sure.
what you've been through.
For sure.
Because I know for me, like making especially female relationships, it's easy for me to make guy relationships. I think a part of that is because I have an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
So that connection for me is a little bit easier. Like a lot of my cousins are guys or whatever, so that's easier. Making a female relationship, that's something different because I love us, but so we can do some catty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so because the fact that we are so open with each other,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, you definitely want to be calculated about who you bring into your circle. And
For
then,
sh-
of course, once you get married, who you want to have around your husband, like all of those things play, a part into it. So yeah, no, definitely, it's an individual thing. It's not
for
a
sure.
just a male thing, but that was in the context of that conversation you guys had.
Yeah. What's a little crazy, just sitting here listening to you, especially when you said when you and your husband were dating,
Hmm.
you were you expressed to him
Hmm.
how you wanted to be, you know, how you
It's so,
wanted him to be your safe space.
yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, I think it's everybody. Whenever we're dating,
Hmm.
it seemed like we all are okay with being vulnerable with
Yeah.
the person that you're dating. And it's
Hmm.
like once you get married, for some odd reason, all of a sudden you kind of close up, and I don't know where from dating to saying I do,
Hmm.
where there was a transition, and I'm only speaking for myself, so I
Yeah.
can't say it for everybody,
Hmm.
but it just seemed that way because not not too many married couples
Hmm.
have unique struggles. I think if you talk to
They
most
kind of all
married
have the
couples,
same issues. Yeah.
it's pretty much all the same, communication, sex,
Hmm.
finances and so forth.
Right. Children.
But yeah, so it just seemed like there was a transition from, oh man, I want to share everything with her. I want to tell her my dreams. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then now I say I do. It's like, uh,
I don't.
yeah, today was a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, my boss is a jerk. Yeah, okay. What are we having for dinner? Oh, yeah, we're having this. But yeah, it just seemed like we kind of closed the shop. Now that you have this individual and you
Right.
say you love this individual, and this is when you're supposed to be even more vulnerable with this individual. But for some odd reason, it just seemed the opposite happens.
Well, it's not for some odd reason. So, because if you really think on it, I'll say for myself, I remember the moment that I pulled back because there was something that happened where where it was no longer my safe space, where my trust was betrayed. And so because of that, then that human thing that we do, because that's the thing we have to remember, that regardless of if your husband or your wife or whatever, you're still human within that relationship. So the human parts of you starts to go back into survival mode, into protection mode. So I don't care if it's my husband or my wife or whatever. And so you end up, and I think what happens is it's little things here and there that start happening, that start shutting, closing, closing that window, close that door. That that little open, broad spectrum starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now it's just kind of like, or you went to go share, and the response that you thought you were going to get from that person, they didn't give you. Or you went to share and you got shut down. Or something happened and they broke your trust. And so it really isn't for an odd reason. I'm pretty sure if you thought about it, you know what I mean? So like you shared with your situation, like you said that she wasn't your person. So something happened that made her now not your person. So maybe you shared and you didn't want advice and she gave it, or you felt judged or whatever it was, but it was something that started that ball rolling for you to start shutting down. And then maybe that wasn't communicated, right? Because I know me. If I feel like after a while, if I'm communicating and I don't feel like I'm being heard, then I'm going to stop talking. Because why? You aren't listening to me. You're just listening to listen. You're not listening to hear. And if I don't feel like I'm being heard, my heart is being heard, then why am I talking? Right. And so, I mean, for me, I have friendships, so I can kind of whatever. But the person that I want to communicate with is the person that I lay down with every night. I mean, I want to talk with my friends, but you know what I'm saying? They're the person out of everybody who knows you at your rawest, right? So then I don't know. What do you think? If you can think of, you had a moment to think about it, you could kind of pinpoint maybe when that started to turn for you.
Oh, for
Not that you
sure.
know
For
it was.
like I said, I didn't mean for it to sound flippant or anything like that. Like I
Oh
didn't
no, I
know.
didn't think that
Yeah, I
way.
didn't know exactly when it happened. I was just making the point that it just seemed with most couples,
Oh,
we're a little bit more open
mm-hmm.
when we're dating, and it tends to close off
Yeah,
once you say I do. Like it seems like you're completely vulnerable to some extent when you're dating, and once you say I do,
mm-hmm.
as you stated, you start closing the windows, you start closing the back door, and the space start getting smaller and smaller, when the space should be getting bigger and bigger, because that's who you want to share your dreams with, that's who you
Right.
want to share your kids with, that's who you want to share everything with.
Yeah.
And again, I know that past traumas
Mm-hmm.
have played a role in my behavior, what I am currently learning. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I am
yeah,
learning.
we so
I am learning.
proud.
But yeah, it's been, the more I look back, the more I notice how my father moved with
Mm,
my mom.
okay.
And sometimes, like I said, a lot of times with my homies, you know, I don't know if I've ever seen my parents hold hands or even kiss.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh,
so again, I don't even know if there's a safe space at home. At my parents' home. I would like to believe, and I assume
mm-hmm.
that he cares and he loves my mother.
Right.
But at the same time, what he shows and how he's showing love
Mm-hmm.
is not how I want to show love,
Right.
and how I should show love. And sometimes, because of what been programmed in my head,
Mm-hmm.
I tend to do some of the same thing he does, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and just trying to break that cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I, also, as I was doing research for this topic, it says that in order to foster, a safe space,
Hmm.
for someone else to foster a safe space for you, you also have to be able to foster a safe space within, you know.
Ooh.
So have you foster a safe space within, and in turn, right, to help that person foster a safe space for you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm over here.
You,
I'm a
you,
therapist. Yeah.
you did not say, look, you can
Yeah.
okay. Oh man. Oh wow. Okay.
Cause
All right.
cause oftentimes we put the onus on the other person,
Yes, and we should.
and and if you're not happy within yourself,
Yes.
how can someone else, make you happy? Or how can someone else, foster a safe space for you, no matter what, and I told my wife this the other day, that, I kind of had to apologize to her in the sense that I keep saying that I need, her to make a safe space for me, but have I given her the opportunity,
Hmm.
to truly make a safe space for me? Yeah, sometimes I just be talking to you. I'll probably be lying,
Oh man,
but you know me,
look at you growing up. I'm
yeah,
so proud. I was a
yeah,
tear. Oh my
yeah.
god.
I'm growing a little bit. I'm growing a little bit. But no, but in all seriousness, have you and I, create a safe space within that allows somebody else to come in, and also, provide a safe space for you to share, with that person, you know?
So I will say that um that to answer your question, yes and no. So creating a safe space within myself, I think that has kind of gone up and down
Mm-hmm.
for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then and I think that what that in turns look like is that this era that's coming around now about this the self love, um, and I used to do that before I got married, and this isn't a it's his fault thing, so just kind of go with me here. So I used to do that before I was married because it was just me. So my attention just had to be for myself, and then I think once I got married, then everything was outward because I have a spouse now, right? So I'm trying to be a wife and prepare a home, and this is well before the kids come. And I think I was halfway doing it. You kind of die to your spouse a little, not die to you, but you know what I'm saying. Like a part of you gets suppressed so that you can be to them. So it's kind of up and down. Over the last several years, I'm trying to do a better job at creating self love for myself because what I have realized in that is that he can't be my everything, and that's huge. So when a lot of times when I hear people say in these conversations like, "Oh, she should be his safe space," kind of like I kind of get half and half on that.
Yeah.
Should she be his safe space?
Uh-huh.
I don't know that my answer is yes for that. Should she provide a safe space for him to be himself? Yes. But should she be his safe space? No. You need, and that goes to what you just asked me. He should be his own safe space.
Yeah.
And then they should both provide a safe space for you to be yourself. So within myself, that's a constant work in progress to answer that
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
for myself. And I think that's just more of a self awareness and realization for myself that
Mm-hmm.
because if I can't pour from an empty cup.
For sure.
So if I'm not 100% for myself, if I don't love myself, if I haven't done all the things I need to do to make sure that I heal myself, um, which, like you said, therapy. And it's so funny because I just like re entered into therapy today. Um, but that was hard. Um, but that's a whole other topic for another day. We can talk about therapy. Something we're not going down the therapy road today. Um, but in providing a safe space for him. So ask me that second part again so I can make sure I answer it properly.
No, so as I was saying, have you created a safe space within,
Yes, I got that. And what was
and
the second
why,
part?
and once you've created that safe space within,
Hmm.
now he has the ability,
Hmm.
to create that safe space that you require, because I think so. It wasn't so much uh, uh, a second question. It was more so
Okay.
just kind of like a follow up because, hey, once you create that safe space within, then
Hmm.
now he can come in and, and whatever you're looking for, because you know exactly what you're looking for in a safe space, because if you don't know what you're looking for in a safe space,
Oh no,
then
I always
yeah,
knew what I wanted in a safe space, whether I have
yeah,
within myself or not. I know exactly what it is that I need.
yeah,
Now I do know externally what I need
yep,
to feel safe.
yep, yep,
And I have communicated that. I do find that that's something that has to be revisited
yep, yep, yep,
in conversation
for
to
sure.
say, hey, I need these things
Mm-hmm.
from you.
Yep, yep, yep,
Um, and I'm a very straight to the point person conversation. You know that. You know I don't beat
mm-hmm.
around the bush. You ain't got to guess what I'm thinking and feeling. So but yes, to that question, I definitely make that known so that he's aware of how to create my safe space, and it's up to him to do with that. But the more internal safe space, that was a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
definitely something that I have to work, that I am working on better because yeah, no.
for sure, for sure. Because like I said, I just had to really think about that question the other day, and I was just like, man, you know, what am I holding back as to
Mm,
why,
mm,
my wife, is not my safe space,
right.
and I really had to think about those things, because I don't. It's not like I harbor any ill will towards,
Oh, yeah, right, right,
my person,
right. Hmm.
but what childhood trauma
Right.
that's keeping me
From
from,
sharing.
from sharing, what have I seen in other relationships growing up
Hmm.
that keeps me from sharing,
Yeah.
what other external forces working within, that keeps me from sharing, because at times all we want to do is blame that other person for not creating a safe space,
Yeah.
but we ourselves are not creating a safe space for that person to
Hmm.
create a safe space for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a double-edged sword. So and one of the comments this week, somebody said, ultimately, you have to be come to the table with humility and understanding,
Hmm.
uh, in order to be vulnerable to share, in that safe space environment.
Hmm.
You know, it's true, man. And as I stated earlier, that male ego, uh, oftentimes, is the root to why I am afraid of sharing. So I have to humble myself. I have to remember to humble myself that I don't have to be rough and tough all the time. So it's a work in progress. That's all I
Well,
would
I
say.
mean, I commend you for doing the work, though. I mean, the fact that you're having these conversations, with your wife, and that you have another couple to also have that conversation with, and you're doing therapy and stuff. Psh, that's way more than a lot of guys. I mean, in the regard to what you're speaking about the man right now, that's more people. Period. We know that, but like in because there are a lot of guys that says, I don't need therapy. I can fix it myself. which is like,
Mm-hmm.
if you could, it would have been fixed by now.
Yep,
So
yep, yep, yep,
you
yep.
kind of need to, you know, suck it up for the greater good of the relationship. But no, seriously, I commend you for, having the conversation. Because yeah, it's just kind of like, man, listen, let's talk. Come on, I don't want the one word answers like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. And it's so funny too, because hearing you say that, and then at the same time hearing the conversation that says, well, when I come home from work, I want to be able to talk about my day and da 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 da. And it's just kind of like, isn't that kind of like contradictory of what
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah,
You want to talk about your day. So it's
yeah.
like, okay, so let me get this clear. You want to talk about your day,
Ah,
but you don't want to express your feelings. You want me to listen, but you don't want me to contribute. You want me to give feedback, but you don't want me to solve your problem. So it's like, oh my God. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot, friend. That's a lot, man. It's
no,
just
it's so we had a previous guest. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so what I was gonna say, I want to say this point, and I'm gonna let you move on, right? So you talked about how like the whole fix it thing. My perspective is,
There she
and I told my
goes. She
husband,
gonna try to fix it.
no. I when I talk to my husband, sometimes he will tell me about something, and I'll be like, "Yo, let's go." Like you're sitting like, "Shoot, what? Let me. What is Vaseline? What is sweat? Let's go. I
Hmm.
got you." And so you kind of laugh, but my thing with him is like, I am the lioness in this here.
Hmm.
And so if somebody is messing with you, it's a natural reaction for me to be like, let's go. We're
Yeah.
not trying to fix nothing, but
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I got to the point where I was just kind of like, okay, I'm upset with you about whatever it was that happened. But you told me what the outcome was. Are you satisfied with the outcome? Now, mind you, I'm not satisfied with the outcome, and I feel like it should
Hmm.
be more than what's happening right now because you deserve this and you deserve that, and that's wrong, blah, 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 blah. But are you okay with what transpired, the end of that situation? If you tell me yes, then I will sit it down and walk away.
Hmm.
If you say no, then let's ride.
Okay, let's ride.
And so I think some of it is not about fixing, it's about there's that wife protection thing that comes
Mm.
because we see you hurt, we see you pain, and if we feel like I have a solution that'll fix that, so you won't be hurt, so you won't be in pain, then this is it right here. So it's not about like I want to fix it, fix you, solve all your problems. It's no different than if you saw us hurt and you would feel like you wanted to be a protector.
For
And I
sure.
know that a lot of times men won't see their wives as protector, but
Hmm.
we are help me. We are a partnership. So if somebody hurt you, they hurt me. Let's go. I'm about to
Yeah.
what you doing.
Yeah.
So I would say not necessarily always look at it as a fix it problem, but just like how you would want to come to the rescue or protection of your wife, kind of give your wife grace that may be a reaction that she's having for you too. So
For
that would probably
sure. For
that.
sure.
Yeah.
No, and to kind of follow up on that, we had a previous guest, and I kind of take my lead, and I kind of watch him from afar, and I've also shared this with him, Carlton,
Okay.
and I want to say he's probably one of the more evolved individuals I know.
Okay.
Like he's done the work, you
Yeah.
know, and because sometimes I used to be like, man, Carlton being soft, you know, but but the more you think about it, and the more I pick his brains,
Hmm.
and just hear him out, he makes a lot of sense, and he's basically the kind of guy that I would want to be, where I'm a little bit more evolved and not this archaic guy that, all hard and,
Yeah.
and closed in,
Yeah.
but aware of self, aware of what I'm capable of doing, you know, and just let my wife in, which is exactly what I have been doing lately. And again, I'm also grateful that it's not too late, that I still have this opportunity to let her in,
Mm-hmm.
because over the last year or so, I've heard of so many friends that
Yeah.
have gotten divorces,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's not where I want to be, So so like I said, even after almost 18 years, that yeah, now I'm working on fixing those things. I am grateful that I still have the opportunity to fix these things, because it could have went the other way,
Right.
because of me not creating that safe space within.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was not able. Well, I was not. I did not allow her to create a safe space for me. And I think that's something that, like you said, that's something that she always want to do. And I think that's what, like you said, most women, that's what they
Mm-hmm.
want to do, is, when you find a woman that wants to create a safe space for you, because you also hear the other stories,
Yeah.
where the guy probably is the one, screaming, hey, let me create a safe space for you, and it's the opposite,
Yeah.
so to have a woman that wants to create that safe space for you, and for you to be fighting it, I don't think it's productive. You know,
I would agree. It's not productive at all.
it's never that yeah, yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna bring it down. So what would be your takeaway and any advice or positive affirmation you would like to give?
So the takeaway today, boys and girls, no, seriously, the takeaway today is, one of the first thing is, you I have to humble myself, you know, and I have to be mindful that my wife is not looking to fight with me. She's not looking to harass me. She's not looking to be critical of me.
Mhm.
You know, she's looking to create a space where I can share. As we stated earlier, my hopes, my aspirations, my dreams. My concerns, my everyday walk. And I need to, be open enough and welcome enough to allow, that environment to flourish. I can't be so closed minded. I can't be so easily distracted and just say, well, in the past or growing up, I didn't see my mom and dad having a safe space, and they've been together for over 50 years, so they're perfectly fine, and when I know fully well that these individuals are probably struggling silently,
Right.
and I don't want to be that individual, because what's the divorce rate today? Is it
I,
50%?
I don't know. It's too much, is what it
Yeah.
is.
So yeah, so I don't want to be in that space where I am looking for a divorce lawyer.
Right.
So I know that I am doing the work, which is working within, trying to create a safe space within, and in turn, uh, my wife is able to create a safe space for me at home. So I am grateful for that. So my advice to anybody is that, you know, do the work within, until you can feel safe within yourself. I don't think anyone will be able to create a safe space for you. So so you have to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work, whether it is going to therapy, whether it is reading a book, whatever it is, do the work, and then in turn, you would live a more stressless life. And as you can see, I have little grays, so I always give my wife credit for that. As much as I fight, you know, that safe space environment, the woman makes a very stress-free life for me, and so I'm grateful for that. So do the work, folks. Do the work. And yourself, what advice would you give to our listeners?
Um, I don't know that I would give advice. I will leave with the affirmation and say, um,
Oh,
I'll
she's
kind of go back
prepared.
to what I, well, you were talking for so long, I had time to think. So,
Wow. And everybody going to go back and watch this show. It's probably going to be an hour, and you probably spoke for 45 minutes of the show. So go ahead.
whatever. Um, now this is your show this time. I was just, on the
Okay.
side.
Okay.
I will go back to the affirmation and say, to anyone who feels that sharing your heart or your space and self with somebody else leans to the negative, makes you feel weak or makes you feel, less than or anything like that, that's absolutely not true. If you find someone who is your safe space, you know, let that person be your strength.
For
Um,
sure.
allow that person to see you, see your heart, and be able to share with you. Um, it doesn't take away from your strengths. It doesn't take away from who you are as a human being. So, if you have a safe space, definitely cultivate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so that is my end advice, affirmation, positive thought for today. Again, we thank you all for joining us for our show. Again, like, subscribe, follow on all the social platforms. And this is Between Friends.